That is your leader heading into the final round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. It's Jason Day. He's got a 2-shot lead. We'll talk more about him in a moment. But now it's time to talk golf with one of my favorite people who's actually played Oakmont. He's from Heffron-Tillotson. He is Craig McRoberts. All I know is I hope that you've gone to the USGA site, because that's some of the only gear that you're going to see until you hit Oakmont, okay folks? Because it's going to be a hot commodity, and I cannot wait until that stuff actually goes on sale. You can get your hands on it and go out there and see our good friend Bob Ford, who's the director of golf, the pro Devin Gee, Mike Zimmerman, the ground crew guy who makes it look perfect, especially for a tournament of this magnitude. This is Craig McRoberts, as I mentioned, and he's played Oakmont. Talk about that track and how difficult it is, and especially those greens, how difficult they can become. So you have to be spot on with your game. Talk about that.
Well, I mean, the course is, in one word, tough. I mean, really, really tough. The USGA loves it because they can set it up as difficult as they can get it. I mean, it's going to be long. I forget what the distance is, 7,500 yards, something like that. US Open rough, 3.5 inch rough. It's going to be thick. And people need to remember, I mean, that course was built back in the early 1900s.
Right.
You know, back then greens were slow. They rolled at 7 or 8 on the Stimpmeter. Today, for the U.S. Open, they're going to be rolling at, who knows, 13, 14. In other words, they're going to be lightning fast, and they have a ton of undulation. So back in the day when they were real slow, the undulation wasn't that big of a deal. But today, when they're at 13, 14 on the Stimpmeter U.S. Open, fast. Over par will win the tournament if it's dry, no doubt.
Jason Day, who's leading Arnold Palmer's tournament, and I have such respect for the king. Arnold, this is an amazing tournament. Can't wait to get home. They're playing it in Orlando this weekend, and of course you can check it out on the Golf Channel later today with all the highlights, or PGAtour.com, where you can find out more on the internet. But he talked about taking advice from Tiger as far as 54-hole lead. What do you do? Patience, aggressiveness, extend the lead, and if you're playing okay, post a good score. Can you use that when you're leading after 3 rounds? If you're lucky enough at Oakmont, will that work?
You would think so. I mean, they always say that par is a good score at Oakmont, right? I mean, the U.S. Open, pars are a precious commodity. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, these guys, this course is going to play so difficult. Again, if it's wet, a little different story. If it's dry, it's going to be over par, and they're going to be struggling to make some pars.
Some of the golfers I want to talk about now, just a quick observation on what you think their chances are, because these are the young guns. These are the ones who are on the tour that people have come to know and really recognize, that I think will be a big part of what's going to happen there this summer. Henrik Stenson, not that young, but he is one of the other 2 golfers that is tied for second place right now at Arnold Palmer's Invitational, and the other being Troy Merrill and Kevin Chappell. But what about Henrik Stenson coming into the U.S. Open?
Yeah, I mean, top 10 player in the world, hits it a mile. I think the question on him is, will the putter work? I mean, you got to make 5 and 10 footers, a lot of them for par at the U.S. Open. So he's a world-class player. We'll see if he can putt well, and if he can, he'll probably be there.
Robert Gagaris, what do you think?
Well, that's a dark horse pick, huh?
I'm working you.
Yeah. I wouldn't call him a favorite. He's kind of an older fellow, kind of a journeyman. I think he's north of 40 now, so I don't think he's a favorite, but you never know.
All right, these are just names I'm just throwing out that I believe are going to be relevant. Bill Haas.
Bill Haas, FedEx Cup winner, younger guy. I remember watching him back in 2000, and when was the U.S. Amateur there? I forget. About 6 or 10 years ago, when he was a college kid at Wake Forest. Yeah, good pick. I think he could do well there.
Billy Horschel.
Billy Horschel, I don't know if he's played well recently. Again, wouldn't be in my top 5 or 10 guys, but we'll see.
No top 10 finishes ever in the U.S. Open, but he's a player that Bob Ford always talks about on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. Luke Donald.
Yeah, Luke Donald. Wow, it's interesting. I heard about Luke Donald. Was it this week's tournament or last week's tournament? I think he fell to like 90 or 99th in the world last year. The announcers actually mentioned he thought about giving up the game late last year. That's how far he fell. He was a #1 player in the world. Now he's barely top 100. He's changed instructors. I don't know.
All right, Webb Simpson, who a couple of years ago won under 35 in the back 9 at Marion. Factor at Oakmont, you think?
Potentially. You don't see his name on the leaderboard much these days, but kind of guy that hits it pretty straight. I think if I remember right, he used to anchor with the putter, or the anchoring ban I don't know if he can make the putts. We'll see.
All right, Craig McRoberts, a couple more golfers. He from Heffron Tillotson, talking golf. Don't let him fool you. He can play golf, folks. Charl Schwartzel, who's only missed one cut in 14 majors. That means something.
Yeah, really good putter. Hits it pretty straight, hits it pretty long. Just won it a week or two ago on tour, so he's coming in with good form. He could do really well.
4-0 in the Walker Cup 2009 at Marion means something, in my opinion, when you play in a prestigious tournament like that. He's my pick to win it. Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler, he's wearing those high top golf shoes these days.
I love it.
Those things are terrible.
Come on.
But anyway, sure, why not? He's top 10 player. He hits it long, hits it straight, putts well. Why not? He's top 10. He could certainly win, for sure.
All right, 3 times in the top 10. Louis Oosthuizen, what do you think?
Louis Oosthuizen, yeah. Again, really good putter. He's got some back issues, I hear, from time to time, but world-class player. He's won majors before. He won the Open Championship, so he's been there.
Last one to win back-to-back since Phil did it, meaning majors, Padre Harrington.
Who knows? He's getting to his mid-40s now. We'll see. He's a long shot in my eyes.
Dustin Johnson, has he ever recovered after that final round of 82, 2010 at Pebble Beach?
That's a good question. He seems to be playing well. He was off for, a year or so with some personal issues, etc. Hits it a mile, but can he hit it straight enough? And can he putt? I think he's an average putter. You got to putt. I mean, you got to pick a guy, and I know who you're going to get to eventually here. You got to pick a guy that can make 5 and 10 and 15 footers. A lot of them for par, but we'll see about Dustin.
Could it be Rory McIlroy, maybe, who won his first U.S. Open by 8 shots, who could actually win this thing by 5, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, winning by 5 might be a stretch, but could he win? Again, you could pick any of the top 10 and say, you know what, obviously if they win, it's not a surprise. So he's right there.
We're almost done. I know you want to go, but I only get you a little bit after the program on a rare occasion, so I'm going to work you. Brandt Snedeker, what do you think?
Yeah, one of the best putters in the world. Had some rib issues 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Had to pull out, but he won back at San Diego. Hits it pretty straight. He's the kind of guy who could do anything.
You just put it right on the tee for me. So from one of the best putters in the world to one of the best drivers in the world, Justin Rose. And you've got a couple of par 3s at 200 plus at Oakmont. And you got the par 4, 521. A lot of people believe that this would suit his game because he can drive the ball.
He's a great driver. He hits it long. He hits it straight. Again, he's, I think, in the top 10, maybe top 15 in the world. So you could pick any number of those guys there. He should do okay.
Graham McDowell.
No, I'd pick him as a dark horse.
Because of the European connection, you think?
Well, I don't know. I just don't think his game is what it used to be. Let's put it that way.
All right, Lee Westwood, another guy that a lot of people have been waiting and waiting and waiting, and it hasn't happened. Although in the last 3 years, he's had some, top 5, top 3 finishes.
He's sneaking around. I don't know how well he's doing this year. I haven't heard his name much on leaderboards, but you never know.
A guy that every man would want his daughter to go to the prom with. A good guy, Matt Kuchar, okay? But for some reason, he just can't win the big one. But everybody would love to see him win the big one.
Yeah. I mean, again, pretty straight driver, really good putter. You could count him in there too. There's a whole host of guys. It's tough to narrow them down.
Just 2 more happen to be my top 2 favorite on the tour. Lefty, 46, Phil Mickelson. What do you think?
He's never been a straight driver of the golf ball, and that hurts you at Oakmont. That hurts you badly. In fact, if I remember back in 07 when it was last there, he injured a wrist. He tried to hit a 5-wood out of the rough during a practice.
Jammed his wrist.
He hurt his wrist. That being said, he's got a new instructor. He says he's driving it as well and as straight as he ever has. You never know. If he drives it straight, sure.
He's not playing right now, and I hope he will play very soon. I think he makes the game better. It's been a long time since 08, since he won a major.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tiger Woods.
Who knows? The ultimate wild card. He's not saying when he's coming back. There was a video clip a few weeks ago. He was hitting a 9-iron in his simulator in his basement in his house in Florida. I don't think even if he can make it, what is it, 3 months from today, basically, is when the tournament is. If he can make it, I think he's a non-factor.
Who do you like? And then we're going to let you go.
Well, you haven't talked about the number 1 player in the world. I mean, that's the kid. I mean, talk about a guy. Jordan Spieth. He drives it straight. He's the best putter in the world. Period. So on Oakmont, U.S. Open greens, I'll take the best putter in the world any day of the year.
I saved him for last because, I knew that you would go there. Pretty much it was guaranteed you were going to go there.
Yeah.
But there's no way he was a one-hit wonder. You think he'll be able to do this multiple years, meaning as he did last year, win multiple majors?
multiple majors in any one year is a huge hurdle. Do I think he'll contend a lot? Yeah. Do I think he'll win a number of additional majors? Absolutely. He's only, what, 22, if I remember right?
Right.
Seems, from all angles, to have a great head on his shoulders, great support group with his parents and his caddy. So why not? He's only 22.
Is the Golden Bear Jack Nicklaus's record of majors safe? And if so, the only way for it to be tied or beaten has to be someone like Tiger, who's young, goes on a really fast pace for about 5-6 years, and then stays healthy and just starts to pick the right fruit along the way.
Short answer is I think it is safe. And the only kind of guy is a guy like Spieth, who's got more than one right now. He's only 22. You know, it'll be interesting if he can get to 6 or 7 or 8 by 30. Win a few more in his 30s, it's doable. But you got to win them in your early 20s if you're going to catch that record. And that's hard to do because there are so many good players out there right now.
All right, you think Nike clubs are starting to catch on?
Sure.
I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know there was...
Watch today, you'll see a ton of guys using Nike equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, Tiger's the one that put them on the map way back in 97 when he turned, 96, 97 when he turned pro. But yeah, well, they're legit, for sure.
Listen, I appreciate your time. And listen, free the schedule up. We want to do this again outside the building sometime because I do really appreciate your knowledge. And you have to admit, truly one of the most historic courses, and you've played it
No doubt.
anywhere in the world.
No doubt. No doubt. It is incredibly challenging, incredibly difficult, great history. The USGA loves Oakmont. I mean, I don't remember exactly how many Oakmont or US Opens they've had. Is it 8 maybe now? But it'll be, they have hosted the most US Opens of any course in the country. So
And there's a reason for that.
it'll be fun to watch.
Pure class. Craig McRoberts, Heffron Tillotson, Your Money and You. Some golf talk. Stick around, folks, because it's just about time for the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.